Colleagues, it's time for us to start our meeting, and we've also formed a quorum. Thank you very much for supporting the establishment of the subcommittee on a number of pollutions. Altogether, 12 colleagues have signed up for the subcommittee. We now have 5 members, so we have a quorum. Item 1 on the agenda, election of chairman and deputy chairman in accordance with Appendix 4 to the House Rules. Verbal nomination is invited, at least from member, and there should at least be 1 seconder. And then I invite colleagues to accept the nomination. Mr. Dennis Kwok, any seconder? Dr. Elizabeth Kwok and Mr. Kwok Wai Keung, second. Thank you. Any other nomination? No? So thank you very much for your support. Do we need to elect a deputy chairman? Members, do we need to elect a deputy chairman? No need. So, we proceed to the schedule of meetings and the agenda outline. According to the legislative timetable from the administration, they would like to introduce 3 pieces of legislation in relation to environmental protection. We haven't received them yet. Usually the administration will not be so early. In particular, the Policy Bureau may not be introducing the legislations in one go. And I have to consider the workload of the Secretariat. It will be Miranda to do the job. Well, if the 3 pieces of legislation are to come in one go, we won't be able to cope. So Miranda has tried to identify possible time slots for us. There are about 6 of them. We may not be able to complete our scrutiny on the health impact on the public under the 3 pieces of legislation, just with 6 meetings. Well, given the workload of the Secretariat, can we have bi-weekly meetings? If we complete our scrutiny early, it doesn't matter. We can vacate the time slots to other subcommittees. In case we have a lot to discuss, we would like to complete our policy study within a year so that we can submit a working report to the House Committee or the panel. So I'd like to consult you on what discussion items to be put on our agendas. I personally hope that this subcommittee will be a policy study subcommittee in relation to the public health impact of various sources of pollution. In accordance with the prevailing circumstances, we'll invite Dr. Ko Wing Man to brief us on the health impacts related to the various pollutions. We'll also review the legislative and administrative measures at present. And we're not just talking about the policies of the SARG and territory-wide impacts. If there are local impacts to local communities, we'll also look into them. Anyway, we would like to put forth policy proposals. But we may not have enough time. Mr. Chung Shu Kan. Madam Chairman, on Friday afternoons we have House Committee meetings, so if you call meetings on Friday mornings, we'll have 1 morning less. Well, usually we don't have FC meetings every week, so can we have alternate weeks? then it doesn't matter, we can have the whole afternoon to come back to work. If you have bi-weekly meetings in that pattern, the impact on us will be minimum. Well, it depends on the administration. I understand that some of our colleagues are also district councillors, so it's heavy for these so-called two-tier councillors. Can we decide on these 6 time slots first? And then we can have additional meetings on Friday afternoons when we don't have FC meetings. Then we can complete our policy study as soon as possible. Well, those will be extra time slots. But normally we should not have a second meeting within 2 weeks. Next, Mr. Tan Kai-pin. No, I'm Chan Han Pan. Oh, sorry. I think I should speak more frequently into your ear that I'm Chan Han Pan. Well, you're all young and strong, and you look similar. Madam Chairman, I'm pleased to see you elected chairman so that we can follow up on long-term pollution issues, in particular roadside pollution. Residents living on both sides of roads are very much disturbed continuously. Well, according to the existing laws, the threshold is 70 decibel. For cases exceeding 70 decibel, save when there are roadworks, they will not take care of them. So what about those roads under continuous noise disturbance and nuisance? Can we ask for noise mitigation measures? Secondly, the logistics industry of Hong Kong is ever growing, and we would like to see more logistics parks. However, those residents living near logistics parks are very much disturbed, including those living on Tenyi. Yes, thicker glasses were installed for the buildings, for those facing the roads, and such residents were also urged to close their windows. But it is impossible to ask residents to keep their windows closed all the time. I understand that no mitigation measures will be adopted for road works, because previously our residents were already asked to thicken their windows, the glass of their windows, and close their windows. So for these housing estates near logistics parks, because of the frequent trips of lorries, can we ask for more mitigation measures? Previously, Mr. Chung Shu Kan also informed me of areas with heavier noise pollution is because of the heavy lorries. Well, we understand that for measurements taken at night, they will take the average of hourly measurements. So when you're awakened by the noises of heavy vehicles, when they come and take measurements, you sleep again, but very soon you'll be awakened again. So I think we should ask for the mitigation measures and possible improvement to our laws. Madam Chairman, for the airport, in particular runway noise, those living in Ma Wan or even in Ting Long Tau have a lot of views. So is it still possible or room for maneuvering for adjusting our aircraft routes? Well, if the aircraft routes can be adjusted a little bit, it will already be very helpful to our residents. So I think when we discussed mitigation measures, we should also consider that. Well, here I'd like to say that we have to be a bit cautious. because on issues like the third runway and adjustment of aircraft routes, they are rather sensitive issues. So adjustment of flight paths may not come under the terms of reference of this subcommittee. Given our economic development, other panels should be the suitable forum for discussing policy issues. Here we're talking about mitigation measures. Last time we discussed double-glazed windows. We asked for a ventilation hole for those windows facing roads, but the windows should be double-glazed. So those windows will help cut off noise, but at the same time keep or maintain indoor ventilation. So I think we have to ask the administration about all these issues. I understand that at 10:30, some other meetings will have to elect chairman. I don't know whether this meeting will overlap with others. So for issues to be discussed and cases to be discussed, members, if you have any suggestions, please submit your suggestions to the Secretariat. Well, Madam Chairman, I'd also like to say something about Chung Kwan-O. In fact, throughout the whole of Hong Kong, there are public housing estates that are very near to flyovers, and it's impossible to erect noise mitigation barriers or noise barriers. As you said, when there is this loud boom sound, all residents in the estates would be awakened. I think we should also discuss MTR noise. That's also very important. As for aviation, it may not be necessary to change the flight paths. I previously moved from Central to Chak Lap Kok. It has something to do with the climbing speed of aircraft. I think for aircraft noise, we can call them here to have a discussion with us. Well, but aircraft noise affects the whole housing estate. Housing estates under flight paths are very much disturbed. Mr. Dennis Kwok, Chairman, just now you mentioned the impact of noise on public health or air pollution on public health. We have a public health department in the University of Hong Kong. They have some experts who have conducted a great deal of study on the issue. I think we should invite them to come. Well, can we do it like this? Well, maybe we can start from the next meeting. We can call experts from the University of Hong Kong and also Dr. Ko Wing Man to come and discuss with us the public health impact related to various sources of pollution. And then we can try to dig up Hong Kong Youth research reports on air pollution. And we should also dig out the related legislations such that members can do their homework first. And then we can go through the issues one by one as well as the real cases. Then we can submit proposals to the panel.
And in the meantime, if you have more proposals to make, do send a note to the Secretariat, or we can have a discussion outside our meetings. The next meeting is tentatively fixed to be held on the 11th of January. I'll ask the clerk to send you papers as soon as possible so that you have got some homework to do during Christmas. We'll see you next time.
係，多謝各位，咁我哋
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned here.